Deshaun Watson, more news about a looming possible suspension, as well as his meeting with the NFL regarding his possible suspension in their internal investigation regarding the NFL. Josina Anderson, noted NFL insider, said this league source on if the NFL issues discipline for the 2022 season with civil cases unresolved regarding Watson. The source referred to the Antonio Brown 8-game suspension in 2020 for violations unrelated to Brown's pending civil dispute. Quote, an example of an initial ruling and a warning delivered. More could come later, end quote. And that's a massive piece to remember there at the back end of that tweet, given the fact that I know a lot of people have brought up the double jeopardy. And I know that, in the U.S. Constitution, you can't have double jeopardy. Once you get one ruling, that's it. That's all you got. But when it comes to the NFL, they are an entity in and of themselves. So there is a possibility that even if you do get that first initial suspension, there still could come with more possible suspension and more possible actions coming up later. In order to go ahead and break this all down, we welcome in from 92.3 The Fan, Garrett Bush, friend of mine as well. G. Bush, got to get your thoughts on this when it comes to Deshaun Watson and the possibility of the suspension coming down from the NFL.
Well, we talk about, I think we talk about suspensions every single day. So there's a lot of noise and there's a lot of stuff surrounding a suspension. But I always look at it like this. There's a lot of times the reason we do these things is because you look at what the NFL has done and been inconsistent about before. If you look at the tea leaves and you can look at other people's suspensions like Ben Roethlisberger or Antonio Brown's, one of the things that the NFL does, it loses credibility because they don't get it right the first time. If you go back and look at all these other suspensions, what's the common denominator? Did you have all the information? Did you have all the facts? And did you make a judgment that you could stand on? And so when you say we've made our decision, this is how we're going to move with it, and they slap it down and do what they need to do, you can move on from that situation and go about the rest of your season, the rest of your life, and continue to move on as an organization and as a player. The worst thing that you can do, and I don't think the NFL and a lot of people are thinking this way, the worst thing you can do is if you say, okay, well, let me preemptively you just go ahead and suspend Deshaun Watson because we're looking at the optics. It just looks bad. We just want to look like we're doing something. It's even worse if you come back and one or two things happen. Either you have to give him more games or you have to say, wow, none of these civil suits turned into anything. Now you look like it's an organization that just does things for optics. Now, we know that's true. I mean, that's particularly true across the board. Because there's certain things that they tend to levy interest on, and there's certain things that they don't. I ain't heard nothing about Robert Kraft in years. Jerry Jones is in the news for all kinds of things. They never seem to get owners for damaging the shield. Daniel Snyder is under multiple investigations at this point. He still comes to the office every day. Here's the way you work it. It's just easy. You either wait till the civil suits are done or finished, or you're going to say, look, we're going to wait until the first civil suit takes place next year, and you can suspend them at that point in time next year, and you can suspend them for however long you want to. The problem is you can't come out and say you can't have it both ways. Either you're going to get it right the first time, or you don't get it right. Either way, you lose credibility as a league if you come out and do stuff and you just do it just because you're looking for optics.